Okay, here we go then. Nelson's Victory. God, look at all these horrible pieces. Well, 2.5 inch squares, that's going to be easy. But what have we got? Floppy doppy fabric, so that's going to go over and get sprayed with my starch. Wasn't it Mary Ellen's Best Press? So I've just got my template. Where's my little ruler? Oh, where has he gone? Hello. Ooh la la. Oh, here he is. Right. I have just got printed out my own version of Imperial template that I put up on the group view just now because I realised it was going to be really awkward. So I'm just going to cut that out because of these little chisel shapes. What's all going on? Yeah, bing, 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 bong. Why can't they leave me alone, eh? I'm only kidding. Who is it? Oh, and it's variegated just for good measure. Oh? Greshner is doing Johnny Tangmouse. And she sounds like she's done something a bit special with it. So we'll see when she puts the picture up. Right. So, using the ruler, and I am cutting this with a ruler this time. We cut on the dotted lines, obviously, because we need our 1/4 inch. And what's that? B? B for blue. That's, I think, isn't it? Yes. Yep, that way round, B for blue. So C for colourful. Let's think of it like that, and then we won't get confused. Because I'm very easy to confuse, as you know. And the last couple of blocks, what? Yeah, last couple of blocks. It hasn't all gone my way. Let's put it that way. It hasn't all gone my way. So, I suppose. Oops. There. Now, get rid of that. I certainly don't need a template for 2.5 inch squares. If you can't cut a 5 inch square and cut it into quarters, well, there's something wrong with you, isn't there? Right. So, and what's that one? Oh, that was the old maker puzzle. Get rid of that now. Yeah, I was going to say the other day, something that I have talked about with someone on the group before now. Even if you are taking it from the magazine and you're cutting out, or you would copy it and cut out the templates, if it were me and I was always going to use templates, yeah, I would then probably put this, I've got a laminating machine, I would probably put a few of them in a laminating machine, and then they would have a plastic feel to them so that I could use them over and over again without fear of them getting down, keep them somewhere safe, right? But that's just a thought. Nelson's Victory, where's the damn material? Oh, yeah, I'm ironed it, yeah? I'll be right back. Right, so now my stiff bit of material. Oh, and that was something else I wanted to say. People have said to me, well, and I noticed too, that when you spray this with the sizer or the starch, anyway, liquid of any sort, you will physically see right in front of you the material slightly shrink, yeah? Oh, the material slightly shrunk. Well, but then my argument is, what do you think it's going to do when you wash it? It's going to do that, isn't it? So, if you start off in some ways having used Mary Ellen's starch on it, Best Press on it, you kind of pre-shrunk it, haven't you? So that when it's sewn in and it does go in the washer, it's not going to shrink any more than it already did. Right, okay. Well, that's the theory. So, we all know how to cut the squares, chisel bits. B for blue, that's what we said, didn't we? And remembering last time's mistake, we want to make sure that beeper blue actually, you know, all the same way around. So no doubling over of material or anything silly like that, as I did last time. And I'm presuming I only want 4. So I'm presuming I can get 4 out of here. Now I'm only going to video me cutting one because I think you've seen me cut these things enough damn times to know exactly what I'm going to do. Yep. So I am literally cutting around my template. I'm just going to do my little fiddly bit. Yep, so that's it. So I'm going to do 4 of those, all facing the same way. You don't need me to watch me do that. And then obviously with this one, the C template for colourful, I am going to do, yeah, 4 of these. Keep it straight. Oh, that came off. Oh, it's good, it's good. Right, so the pink ones face the opposite way so that when they're sewn together, the pink ones are on the right, aren't they? Yeah, on the right. So obviously they need to make this chisel effect. So excuse me while I just go and cut out the rest. Righty-ho. So we've got our blue and pink chisel shapes and 4 squares of blue gingham. That's all we need for Nelson's Victory, so let's go and make it. Oh, I just wanna... Oh, that's on a skew, isn't it? Right. There. Okay. I hope I've got that right now. Yeah. Okay, right, so back at the machine, it's all still set up because I just finished doing the the churn dash square. So okay, over at the sewing machine with our chisels, we want to just do make the V at the moment for the make the V for the square to fit in. Okay. So I am just making these V shapes. Set the seam, peel it back, I don't like that corner, and make these V shapes. Okay, I'll do that again so you can see that blue on the left, pink on the right, the short slopey angle, put it together and sew it. Do exactly the same. Slopey angle, put it underneath. So I just chain piece those pieces together, which just means that, you know, you just do one after the other and then you just cut them apart. Okay, and then set the seam, set the seam. Now put the pink on the top so I can roll back to the pink. Okay, put the pink on the top so that I can, whoops, roll back to the top. Now, having done it all this way, yeah, so you've got these L-shaped pieces. Now you know we're going to have to fit in the 2.5 inch squares in a Y seam as we just did for Nelson, for her other silly thing. What was it? What was it? I was just making turn dash. Okay, so with your pencil, decide whichever corner you want to sit inside there, yeah, and do a 1/4 inch V. I mean, you can measure all of this. I do it roughly, so I know where I am. And then on the one side, I am going to start with it, well, matching the corner, obviously, yeah? But I am only going to sew down to that V and then backstitch that drawn in line. So when I get to there, backstitch. Okay, now again set the seam. Oh, of course I got rid of my V, but saying that doesn't matter because draw it back in. You know where your stitching stops, so that's where you're going to start. So then, manipulating all of this, you can fold this in half if you like to make it better. Yeah, if you fold, see what I just did then? I took that and folded the whole thing in half. Yeah. So then you can more clearly see, it's still got to have a little bit of a twist on it, but you can then more clearly see where you need to start with your line. Open out your square on top, yeah, matching up this end, matching up that end, open up your square, let me get my pen, open up the square, and I can see my stitching ended there, so I'm making a dot for you to see. I don't know if you can see that dot, I just made a dot, yeah, that's where my stitching ended. This is now squared up on this side, yeah, so having opened up my square, make sure everything else is out of the way, put it underneath my iron, underneath my foot, drop my foot, drop my needle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back again, and then continue on down to make my 1/4 inch seam. Now over to the knees, over to the iron we go. I want to flatten out, can you see what I'm doing? I want to flatten out that square and give it a quick press, turn it over and then press the other side, yeah, yeah, good press, the other side. Now I have got that's outside obviously. Now I've got one corner done, one corner. So we're ending up with basically quarter squares again. So is that the same with this one? I am just drawing my 1/4 inch with my friction pen. Can you see I've just drawn a 1/4 inch line, and then matching it up to the pink, yeah, so that this outside all fits lovely, square. Put it under my needle, do my 1/4 inch seam and stop. I have to lift my foot because I got the material coming underneath. Stop on that V that you made and I cut the stitches back. Now I'm going to go and, obviously this gets rid of my friction pen, so I'll show you again. I'm going to iron it and peel it back, yeah. Then bring it back over, plop it back down, and then where my stitching stopped, I put myself, you know, a mark so I can see it. Fold the whole thing in half, yeah, which should then bring, you can bring all the material to match up again. I fold it in half and now both my sides are matching, yeah. I bring my square flat, so I've opened up my square now, and in there is my blue dot. It's just, where's my pointer? My blue dot, if you can see it on camera, is in there, so that's where I'm starting, and I'll back stitch. So I plop that under the needle, put my foot down, make sure I line up with that dot, yep, put my needle down, double check, yeah, a few stitches forward, a few stitches backwards, one more, right, and off we go again, out to the edges. Then when I go now, see it's in, right? When I go to the iron, I make sure the square is outwards like a square, a proper square, like that. And iron that square flat. So that square is now flat, yeah? Turn it over and then give that a good press. Bit of steam if you have it. I'm running out of, I don't use water, I use Comfort iron stuff, because here in Bristol we've got a really hard water problem, so it scales up the iron, so I don't like putting water in my iron. So now there's another Y seam of that square, yeah. So now you can see, yes, our squares are in. We can turn that, we can do this now, lovely, absolutely lovely. So now we can put these two together, making a perfect seam down the middle for the top half. Under the needle. All the way down. Oh, couldn't cut my thread. All the way down. I like to make sure everything's you know, correct. Iron that seam and roll it back. And hope, 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 hope that we get a good cross. Alright, so now that's the top half of my block done, right? And forget this, because this is going to get joined, isn't it? So forget that. I got a little tiny hole in there, I don't know why. Anyway, as you can see, that meets quite nicely. So I just noticed I got a teeny weeny hole. Look, I don't know why, but my stitching didn't catch just there. Doesn't matter, because I will just in fact, I'm going to do the whole thing. I am stitching over the top of my stitches. I don't know why, but that did not stitch very well. But there we are. I've just restitched over the entire thing that I just did. I'll set my seam again. Keep everything flat and roll it back. Right. I don't know why it did that, but somehow right there my stitch. It's all right now. It's caught now, busters. Right. So that's the top half. So I'm going to go on and continue and make exactly the same again for the bottom half, and I'll come back to you. All right. Now, we've got the two halves, yeah, which we need to put together. Yep. But it's something very special now, and this is how you get it to really work for you. First off, we got, you know, because obviously we want it to end up, you know, looking like that, don't we? But if you notice on mine, I just show you on mine, the gap between the apex of this point and the edge of the material is more than 1/4 inch. The apex between this point and on the floor on the blue fabric is less than 1/4, but on the pink is more than 1/4. So what do we do? Right, okay. So we've got to be a bit special. What we do is we put one on top of the other, trying our best at the moment to line up the central seam, because we want that to be correct as well, yeah. But we need the apexes of these triangles to really meet in the middle. So I take a pin. I could take a bigger pin, but I won't. I'll take a pin, and then from this side I can see where the stitching is coming up, so I can see where the apex of that there. So I put a pin right through that seam, and my pin is still not quite right. Do it again, try. Nope, still not quite right. You know, you need to, if you're as fussy as I am, then you fiddle with it. Put a pin through. Yeah, now that pin is going right through the apex of my point. So I haven't done it with one side, see my pin's sticking out now, yeah. Then I'll go into the other one, yep, right through the apex. Which way do I want this to go? I want that seam has to come this way. for it to gel together, right? So I'm going right through the apex of that one. So now I can pivot without mucking about really with that pin and making sure that that pin stays. I can bring the pin backwards. Just so I've done, I've gone through both spots that I want. So now I can bring the pin, as long as I'm happy that that pin is truly going through both apexes, yeah, I can bring the pin backwards towards me, yeah, so that's now pinned, and then I can line up, and I will this time, just put another couple of pins because I don't want it swiveling on that pin. Put another couple of pins in just to hold me steady. I don't know how that seam got bent up. And if I turn it over, you know I said there was a difference between the materials. Well, you can see that there is a difference between the materials now, can't you? Yeah? But then I got that pin in, and I know exactly that that is the, where that pin went in is the top of where I want my seam to go. So whichever way round you're going to sew it, because that pin should come out the other side, right? And I'm not worried about, you know, anything being a bit floppy doppy, because if you look, my outside seams practically match. So I'm going to sew it from this way round, and I'm going to go really careful. So I've got my blue line, so I don't want to go under that blue line. I'm going to pop it under my needle. Obviously the first bit doesn't matter, doesn't matter. But here, now I've got to take my pin out, but then I get my awl to hold where the pin was, and I am going to have to gently lift my foot over that great big fat bit in the middle. And I am literally lifting it millimetres just to help it over the hump. And then off we go again, move that pin out of the way. Off we go again. Now, this is a hope and a prayer. Okay, so you can see I stitched through my blue line. Did I stitch through my blue line? Yeah, I did. So before I open it up, roll it back and iron it, I am hoping to God I got a really lovely cross in the middle. So let's see. Let's just see. And while I'm here, I'm ironing that bit down. Right, set the seam. Oh, God help us, because this is not an easy one to do. So let's just gently, so there's an awful lot of fabric now in the midst of this. Gently roll it back. Oh, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, I have to say. It's not perfect. Oh, disappointed. No happy dance today. My one is perfect and my other one isn't. Now I could unpick it and move it all up a few millimetres. But do you know what? you have to take a view at the end of the day. It's not perfect, but you could see my method of how I was trying to get it. I mean, it's a perfect cross in as stitch wise, in as much as the seams are a perfect cross. It's just not a perfect cross on that one teeny weeny pink bit. The blue is perfect. That pink has let me down. Oh, disappointment. However, as I say, it's done, it's done. I'm not going to redo it. It's done, it's done. Now, of course, the same is true with everything, as the test is it the right flaming size? Okay, so let's see. Is it the right size? I'm putting it on the board. And it's short by 1/8. If I give it a gentle tug, which is what I will do when I sew it, yeah, is 8.5. Let's go downwards. It's, oh, it's right. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. No, it's not quite. So if I give it a gentle tug, I'm going to make sure I'm on the right place. Yeah, but I am going to have to pin this really tightly. Okay, so with the best will in the world, I mean, there's a bit in it, if I can do it, but it is falling. Oh, it's alright that way round. You know, you have to take a view. That's alright that way round. And I just need to stretch it out that way round. But, you know, I'm happy. That'll do me. I'm a little disappointed in that cross. Everything else is perfect, but that cross. But never mind. Live and learn. I mean, you know, I'm not, am I? But if I was doing a competition, yeah, I would unpick that, move this over. What is that, about an 1/8? Resew it, and it would be perfect. But I can't be bothered with that. I mean, this is going in my kiddies' bedroom, and I'm sure they're not going to say to me, "Oh, look, Nan, that's not right." No, they're not going to say that, are they? Well, they do. I slap them. No, they won't say that. Right. Okay, so that is Nelson's Victory done.